There are 5 questions you should never answer, and the people asking them are often far less trustworthy than they appear. These are not complicated questions. They do not sound like interrogations. They are not obvious traps covered in warning signs. In fact, they are the exact opposite. They sound soft, friendly, warm. They sound like they are coming from someone who genuinely cares about you, someone who respects you, someone who simply wants to connect and have a conversation. And that is exactly what makes them dangerous. Because the most dangerous questions in the world rarely sound dangerous. They sound like friendship. They sound like honesty. They sound like trust. And by the time you realize what those questions were truly designed to uncover, you have already revealed something you can never take back. Niccolò Machiavelli spent his life watching people destroy themselves, not through wars or open conflict, but through careless conversations. One wrong answer spoken at the wrong table was enough to cost someone their alliances, their reputation, or their power. And he noticed something most people still fail to understand, even centuries later. The people who fall first are usually not the ones attacked openly. They're the ones who get asked the right question at the right moment by the right person. And they answer fully, honestly, because it felt safe. I'm going to show you all 5 questions, and the 5th one is the root, the one that makes the other 4 possible. If you can learn to never answer that one question, the other 4 lose most of their power over you. But you need to see the first 4 to understand why the 5th one is the one that matters most. Now, before we go into these 5 questions, I want to be clear about something. This is not about becoming paranoid. This is not about assuming everyone around you is a threat. This is about protection, understanding which questions are safe to answer and which ones are designed to take something from you that you didn't mean to give. That's not distrust. That's intelligence. Here's what most people don't realize. You were trained from childhood to answer every question that comes your way. A teacher asks, you answer. A parent asks, you answer. An authority figure asks, you comply. That training made you obedient. It didn't make you powerful. Power starts the moment you realize that not every question deserves your truth. That the space between someone asking and you answering is the most important moment in any conversation. In that space, you either keep your power or hand it over. Right now, that space doesn't exist for you. By the end of this video, it will, and it will never go away. Let's get into it. The first question you must never answer, and this one happens to you constantly, at work, at home, with friends, with family. You'll recognize it the moment I say it. Someone does something that affects you. They make a decision without asking. They cross a boundary. They commit to something on your behalf. They change the plan. They give away your time. And after it's already done, after the action is already taken, they look at you and ask, "You don't mind, right?" Or, "That's okay with you, isn't it?" Or, "You're fine with that, right?" Stop. Listen to what just happened. They're not asking your permission. They already acted. The decision is made. The thing is done. That question is not a question. It's a notification dressed as a request. And the way it's worded traps you into agreeing, because the expected answer is, "No, I don't mind." Anything else, anything that sounds like, "Actually, I do mind," makes you look difficult, petty, unreasonable. The question has been engineered so that disagreement costs you socially. And most people will absorb the violation and say it's fine rather than pay that cost. The person asking knows this. That's exactly why they did the thing first and asked the question second. Think about how many times this has happened to you. Someone gave away your Saturday without asking, and then said, "You don't mind helping out, right?" Someone shared something private about you, and then said, "You're not upset about that, are you?" Someone took credit for your work, and then said, "We're a team, so it doesn't matter who gets the credit, right?" Someone volunteered your time, your money, your energy, your name, and then checked in afterward with a question that made saying no feel like starting a war. Watch what happens when you answer this question with, "It's fine." You think you're being easygoing, you think you're keeping the peace, but the person who asked just learned something about you. They learned that they can act first and get your approval afterward, and they will do it again. And the next time, the violation will be a little bigger, a little more invasive, a little more costly. Because every time you sign off on something you didn't choose, you raise the limit on what they think they can take without asking. Machiavelli wrote that men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, because everyone can see, but few can touch. What he understood is that appearances matter more than reality, and the question, "You don't mind," creates the appearance of consent. It makes it look like you agreed. It makes it look like you were consulted. And if you ever bring it up later, they'll say, "But you said you were fine with it." The question didn't just get your compliance. It got your signature on a contract you never read. So, when someone hits you with, "You don't mind," you don't nod. You don't say, "It's fine." You say, "Actually, I would have preferred if you'd asked me first." Or, "I would have handled that differently." You don't need to be angry. You don't need to make a scene. You just don't say yes when everything in the dynamic is pressuring you to say yes. And the moment you stop automatically signing off on things you didn't choose, something shifts. People stop informing you. They start consulting you. That shift from someone people act on to someone people check with changes your entire position. And it all begins with refusing to answer a single question. That is the first question you must never respond to, the retroactive permission trap. But the second question is far more difficult to recognize, because it does not appear after a violation. It appears before one. It arrives disguised as something a close friend might say, something that sounds respectful, something that sounds courageous and sincere. And because it comes wrapped in that disguise, you lower your guard every single time. So what is it? The second question you must never answer is dangerous precisely because it makes saying no feel wrong. Someone looks at you and says, "Can I be honest with you?" And almost automatically you reply, "Of course." Every single time. Because what kind of person refuses honesty? What kind of person says no to the truth? So you agree without thinking. And in that exact moment, you hand someone permission to say anything they want, while disguising it as a favor they are doing for you. Now think carefully about the last time someone said, "Can I be honest with you?" What came after it? Did they say something that genuinely strengthened you? Something that expanded your perspective or lifted your confidence? Or did they plant a seed of doubt inside your mind? Something that made you question yourself afterward? something that quietly weakened your certainty. I don't think this is going to work. I don't think you're ready. I'm not sure you're making the right choice. And because they asked permission,